Brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality replacement parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you front axle replacement. This is a 2003 Honda Civic. Same for a 2001 to 2005 Civic. We show you on the driver's side. Passenger side is the same procedure. Items you'll need are a new axle from 1AAuto.com, 10 to 21 millimeter sockets with wrenches, ratchets, extensions. You'll also need a 32 millimeter socket, and we highly recommend having air tools, breaker bar, tire iron, torque wrench, small hammer, needle nose pliers, penetrating oil, jack and jack stands, pry bar, and a drain pan. And it's probably a good idea to have a front end alignment done after this repair as well.
Remove the front wheel, held on by 4 19 millimeter lug nuts. If you have a different style hubcap, you'll need to remove that. But just use a breaker bar or your tire iron and loosen the lug nuts while the tire is on the ground. Now raise and support the vehicle. Now remove the lug nuts the rest of the way and the wheel and tire. This 32 millimeter nut on the end of your axle, there's two options. You can take your wheel off, take the center cap out of the wheel, put the wheel back on, put the vehicle on the ground, have somebody hold the brakes and use a large breaker bar and try and remove it. Highly recommend having an impact wrench for this because this can be difficult to get off. And with the nut off, just want to make sure your axle is free from the hub, which it is. You want to remove this 12 millimeter bolt and this 10 millimeter bolt. They hold the brake hose and sensor wire. Remove the two 12 millimeter bolts that hold the brake caliper in place. Here and here. If necessary, use a flat blade screwdriver or pry bar. Pry out on the caliper a little bit to loosen it up, and then you can take the caliper off. Take a bungee cord and just secure your caliper back here so that you don't stress the brake hose. Now we're going to remove the pinch bolts, 21 millimeter nuts and 19 millimeter bolts, 21 millimeter socket and a breaker bar. Get the nuts started. And once the bolts start moving, then hold them and take them off. Helps if you turn your wheel to the outside. Remove your bolts that hold the strut and carefully let this down. Push your axle through. Have a pry bar or a big screwdriver handy just to help you get it out. Pull the axle out from there. Good idea to have a drain pan underneath where the axle goes into the transmission. Then take a good sized pry bar, get it between the axle and transmission, and pry out. Now you can bring your axle right out. Old part from the vehicle, new part from 1AAuto. Visually there's some slight differences, but it's going to go in and install just like the original and fix up your problem. New axle, feed it into place. Put it into place. And then you kind of have to just push it in. Take the nut off. We do keep it on there just to protect the threads on the axle while we're installing it. And put the axle in place. Bring this up. And you may just have to kind of spin the axle a little bit. Get the axle go in place. Put the knuckle up into, a lot of times it's easier to start the bottom strut bolt first. And then you can push in to get the top one in place. Put the axle nut in place. We'll tighten it up when the vehicle's on the ground. To reinstall a caliper, just remove your bungee or whatever you might have holding it. You have to push your slides in a little bit to get it to go on. Tighten these to 25 foot-pounds. Reinstall these brackets. 10mm bolt holds the sensor wire. And the 12mm bolt holds the brake hose. Put them in and tighten them up. If you've got any grease or anything on your rotors, make sure you wipe them down. If you haven't done so already, push your center cap out, and then you can put the wheel back in place. Start your lug nuts. We'll tighten them preliminarily and then torque them when the vehicle is back down on the ground. We'll torque our lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds first. And tighten and then torque the center nut to 134 foot-pounds or 181 Newton meters. With these wheels, you may find to get the best angle, to dent that hub nut, you might have to take the wheel back off, use a punch or a big screwdriver, and dent the nut down. And replace your cap.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit oneauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.